Hello and welcome to the Oracle's Chamber, the conclave of elders, the inner sanctuary where we talk about sales and marketing, money, tactics, strategy, business growth, and solving business problems. Today, I want us to look at a topic that some of you are already used to because I talk about it again and again. The reason why I'll never stop talking about it is because it's one of the reasons why lots of us are frustrated in business, frustrated in selling, frustrated in looking for customers or clients. And that is the ability to be able to figure out quickly who it is you're talking to. Are you talking to a serious person? Are you talking to somebody who is a waka pass? Are you talking to somebody who is broke? Are you talking to someone who is serious? Are you talking to someone who is curious? We need to be able to figure out these things quickly so that if this person is a serious person and the person has money, we'll invest time. We'll continue to chase them. If this is somebody who is broke and can never buy this thing, even if they sell their whole generation, we won't waste time with that person. If this is somebody who is, merely curious, kind of tight for cash, maybe they're kind of working towards something, we'll know as we will be following them. By the way, everybody is worthy of respect because we're all created in the image and likeness of God. So don't disrespect anybody for being broke. But like I say, now money will define. So we're trying to figure out where best to invest our time and where best to invest our resources so that we come out with revenue at the end of the day. But please do not disrespect anybody. I'm not saying you should disrespect anybody because they are broke. Because unfortunately, how do they say it? All fingers are not equal. And there's one thing my auntie used to tell me. I didn't quite understand it at the time. But she used to say that, basically my auntie used to tell me that things change. I didn't quite understand where she was coming from. Because, like most Nigerian families now, we all have our own dynamics. So there's some people in the family, there's some branches of the family that, have plenty of money. There's some branches of the family that are kind of like middle class. And then there's some branches of the family that are as one of my aunties likes to say, commoners. So there's some branches of the family that are commoners. So I was fortunate to have been born in the branch of the family that is, let's say, like that kind of middle class. And so my auntie used to remind me that, look, no condition is permanent. That's what she used to say. No condition is permanent. But as a primary school child, I didn't understand what she meant. But growing up now and seeing fortunes change, seeing how people that used to be the commoners before are now the ones that are on the top, I say, okay, is this what my auntie meant? So things change. Summary: respect everybody. However, we'll still keep talking about these things. How can we figure out who we're talking to? The quality of the prospect that we have in front of us, so that we know how much time, how much resources to invest in this. Now, the reason why this has come up again is because I'm having a conversation with a salesperson. So, excuse me. Now, this salesperson is very senior in her craft. Excuse me. So, this salesperson is very senior in her craft. So, because of that, this kind of approach that we're going to talk about today might scare a lot of you. A lot of you might hear it and say, no, I beg. I can't try that, blah, blah, blah. So no problem. If you hear it and you can't try it, it's not a problem. Everything is in stages. Everything is step by step. So it's like me now. If I say I want to get on the football field and I want to do some kind of moves that Lionel Messi would do, like I would tear my hamstring. This one is not even pull my hamstring. As in my hamstring would tear. My joints would dislocate, because everything is step by step. So somebody like me who hasn't played football in the last 20, 30 years, what I'm supposed to do is, first of all, conditioning. I'll be walking, then I'll be jogging, then start doing some fundamentals. You trap, you dribble, you do some I'll work it up step by step by step. So it's the same way in business and in sales as well. There are times when you hear something and you just know that, this one don't pass me. The advanced technique with this, no problem. You just focus on the fundamentals. Eventually, you get to the place where you can do some advanced stuff. Now, for those of you who've been listening for a while, you know that I keep talking about qualification and discovery. So qualification and discovery is the part of the business relationship, the part of the selling conversation where you're trying to figure out who is this person that I'm talking to? Who is he? Who is she? What are their identity? What is the problem that they are facing? Is this a serious problem? Do they even have money? Do I have the skill set or the inventory to solve this problem? Because if you're in real estate and you're talking to somebody and it looks like the person is looking for ultra high net worth premium real estate, But meanwhile, the only kind of houses that you have in your own control or that you have in your own database or whatever is, single income or middle class or whatever. Like, don't bother. You figured out what the person wants. You don't have the inventory to match what it is that the person wants. In that situation, I beg, you're better off trying to get a referral. Then you now tell the other person, now, bros, anything that comes from this, just give me my 10%. So, yeah, that's it. Who is this person? Who is she? Who is he? What is the problem? What is the vision? How bad is the problem? Do they have money? Can I service them? If I can service them, go ahead. If I can't service them, do the needful. So that is the whole thing around qualification and discovery. Now, this sales professional that I was talking to, remember, I said she is a senior professional. When I say senior, it means she's been working for a while, almost like 10 years. So she has some experience. She's been around. So we could cut straight to the chase on a couple of things. So I told her, look, this is what we're going to work on today. The conversations you've been having so far, when you're trying to qualify people, because this lady sells some infrastructure. I won't say what kind. When you've been trying to qualify people, what we've been doing is we have been talking about need first. That's need analysis. The person will call and say, oh, okay, what do you need? What are the power requirements? What is this? What is this? All that need. In fact, let me just say solar. And yes, it's the same lady I've been talking about, Cinderella. Now, even though Cinderella, for those of you who are listening for the first time, don't worry. If you listen to the other episodes, you see what I'm saying. So even though Cinderella is young, she actually has been selling for quite a while. She's been selling since she was about 21, 22-ish. So she don't get small experience, like maybe like that kind of 10 years. So I told her, look, Cinderella, this is what we've been doing now. In selling solar equipment, this is what you've been doing. Most of the time, we've been going straight to need analysis. Hey, hello, thank you very much for reaching out, blah, blah, blah. I hope you don't mind me asking, what are you trying to power? How many bedrooms? How many TV? How many deep freezer? How many AC? Do you have washing machine? Is the inverter washing machine? All those kinds of qualification questions. That kinds of conversation. Now, that is the need analysis part where you're trying to figure out what exactly do they need or, how bad is the problem, things like that. Now, those kinds of conversations are good. If you've been doing them, they are very good because when you do that, it is then that you have all the information that you need to give an accurate quote, a relevant quote, a solid quote. And it's also there that you get all the information that you need to make a good presentation. Because it is based on what they tell you, you now know where to pinch, where to squeeze, where to emphasize. So that part is good. But then, Cinderella, quickly, again, it's not her real name. I'm just using code name. Again, where was I? So Cinderella figured out that, look, I'm tired. And I was glad to hear her say that. She said she's tired of just sending proposal up and down. The right proposal, they make presentation. She says she's tired. And I was happy to hear that. She says she's trying to look for ways to increase the quality of people that she's investing time with. And I said, fantastic. I'm glad to hear you say that. It is the Spirit of God that has revealed this to you. And that is the reason why when I picked up the phone and we started our session today, I told you that I want us to change our qualification approach. I want us to push need analysis back small. And I want us to bring money and budget and then urgency to the front. Now, this is where some of you will be afraid. Some of you will say, I'm just meeting this person for the first time. I will now start discussing money just like that. So it's okay. If you sound scared, like I said, don't take this approach. The only reason why I can discuss this with Cinderella is because Cinderella has been selling since she was 21. She's now 30 something. So for her, she will shake. If you're brand new, your mouth will be shaking. The first time I had to quote something for somebody and I called 400,000 naira, my mouth was shaking. So when I said 400,000 naira and the babe started laughing, I understood why she would be laughing because that 400 was sounding heavy in my mouth. So if you're not there yet, don't try this. So I told her, when we're doing qualification, we're going to bring budget front. Then we're going to bring timelines or urgency front. Some of you be wondering, budget, timelines, no problem. Let me take a step back. There's a qualification framework or a framework for having these kinds of conversations with people that I've spoken about a lot called BANT, BANT. BANT is an acronym. It stands for budget. What again? Budget is, what is it? Authority. Budget, authority, need, and then timelines. Again, budget, authority, need, and then timelines. Those of you who are more experienced will say, how can I be telling them about BANT? Relax. There are other qualification frameworks. Yes. Some of you say there are better qualification frameworks. Yeah, no problem. I won't argue. But the thing is, talking about BANT and all these other qualification frameworks that only have 4 letters or 4 elements, for me, I prioritize them because if it is just 4 letters, it's easy to remember. Easy to remember means easy to do. It means I can be on the spot. I can be talking with someone, and in my brain, mentally, I'm checking out, okay, budget conversation. Okay, we don't discuss money. Authority. Okay, who is the person that is going to make the transfer? Okay, need. How bad is the problem? Okay, timeline. When are they ready to take action? See, like in my mind, I can be doing it. All those other qualification frameworks that have 10 steps, 15 steps, 20 steps, no problem. You say they are the best. Go on, carry on. But good luck trying to remember 10, 15 steps. So that's the reason why I push out all these ones that are 4. Not as if they are the best. Easy to remember, therefore easy to do. So, budget just means we're having money conversations because we want to be sure that everybody has realistic price expectations. If the person that you're talking to has unrealistic price expectations, you're wasting your time. Excuse me. If you're selling your market 40 million and the person thinks that 15 million is a realistic budget, you're wasting your time. The gap between 15 million and 40 million is too big. Find that out now instead of wasting time building relationship with somebody. So that is step 1, budget. Number 2, authority. Authority just means who is going to pay the B at the end of the day? Who is going to make the transfer? Who is the person that is calling the shots? We want to make sure that we're talking to the right person. Because, like I say, if you spend 1 year with the houseboy. If the houseboy does not have authority to make the transfer, that deal will never close. All right? Authority is important. If you're wasting all the time with houseboy and with PA, some of you will say, why am I talking like this? So, back when I sold insurance, there was one guy who, our line manager, went out with the guy and they got into a building and they were about to get into the building and the guy stopped them at the gate and then the salesperson started talking to the security guard about insurance products. So our line manager, she didn't say pim, she didn't say anything, she waited. Next week, Monday, when it was time for a meeting, you know how Nigerian guys can be now, she washed the guy in front of the whole office. She was now asking him, you are talking to security guard, you're talking to Megad. Can Megad pay I've forgotten the words, it's been a while now. Is it premium? Can Megad be paying this monthly premium? If Megad cannot pay the premium, why are we talking to Megad? So, I'm not making this stuff up. This one happened. I wasn't there when it happened, but I was there at the washing down, when my line manager was washing them down. So it happens. There's some of you that are wasting time. See, houseboys and PAs are worthy of respect. Respect everybody because we're all children of God. But for the purposes of chasing money, chasing kudi, chasing owo, chasing ego, chasing yare, chasing whatever it is you call it in your language, for the purposes of chasing that thing, we are better off spending more time with people who have the authority. Somebody who can say, what's your account number, please? And then the person will just do transfer swiftly. Or somebody who will ask you, do you have POS? Then the person will give you their card. Or the person who will say, is it going to be cash or check? And then the person will bring out their checkbook. Yes, some people still issue checks. I think like 5, 6 years ago. Yeah, I had to collect a check from someone. I was shocked. I thought they've stopped making checks, but apparently checks are still in use. So, yes, cash or check. That's the kind of person you want to be spending time with. That is authority. Then N, that is need. That was where Cinderella and her classmates, should I say my classmates? Her classmates. Well, okay, no, anyway, her sales team. That's where they were starting from. Needs analysis. Hello, thank you very much for reaching out. I hope you don't mind. We need to do some node analysis here. Let's see what it is that you want to power with your system. How many TVs? How many bedrooms? How many deep freezer? What about water pump? What about water heater? That is need analysis. N, and that is where lots of people start from. Need analysis. Somebody reaches out to you. You're a wedding photographer. Say, hello, are you available? Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, it's a wedding. Okay, traditional or this or whatever. Oh, do you want a photo album? How many frames? See, all of that, that is need analysis. It's not bad. Then the final one, which is where a lot of us don't do well, that is T, timelines. Timelines just means how soon is this person ready to take action? And is there any sense of urgency? Are they ready to take action anytime soon? Now, the idea behind qualification frameworks like this, BANT, is if you're talking to somebody, the person does not have budget, the person does not have authority, the person does not have a need, the person does not have timeline, stop wasting time with that person. This deal is going, if you can't even say this deal is going nowhere, it is not even a deal. Budget, they don't have money. Authority, this is not the person who can make the decision. Need, okay, you're not sure whether they need or they're just curious. Timeline, you're not even sure whether they want to take action this year or not. There is no deal there. So Cinderella was tired of issuing proposals to people who at the end of the day, well, they were just curious, or at the end of the day, I just wanted to know the price, or they just ghost. So we were both in sync. She was tired, and I said, good, glad you're tired, because I want us to bring budget and then timelines front, so that if the person has budget and if it looks like the person wants to take action anytime soon, then we will continue the rest of the conversation. We will increase the odds that we're talking with people who can end up becoming a good customer at the end of the day. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. With this qualification framework or guideline, we're looking at 4 steps. Who has money? Who has the power to make the decision? Do they even have a serious problem? And does it look like they're ready to take action anytime soon? I was trying to get Cinderella to start off with money and timeline first instead of starting with need analysis. Luckily, she had already started doing that on her own. That was good. And this was the approach that she had taken. She said what she was going to do was she would start, and then need analysis was just going to be small. She wasn't going to go into details. She would just ask small questions just to try and figure out where this person land. Then she would now tell the person that, oh, bros, based on what you said, it's looking like anything between like 4.5 to 6 million, because this one sounds like it will be a small system, like around that kind of 3.5 kVA, maybe 5 kVA. So anything, 4 million to like 6 million, that kind of thing will sort you out. So how does that sound to you, sir? Then she will now keep quiet. That's what she was doing, which is very good. And this is the reason why I say some of you be afraid. Some will be like, I'm just meeting the person for the first time. I'm now telling him 4 to 6 million. How does that sound? Don't worry. If that is scary to you, then relax. Don't do this. But just know that it's possible after you have some more practice and some more experience under your belt. But relax, you will get here. Now, when she did that, she said a couple of people. This conversation I had with Cinderella, we had this conversation today, actually. Yes, today. We had another session 2 days ago, but this one was today. She said already today, some people have just said, oh, no, my sister, I just wanted to know how much. I just wanted to know the price. That's all. Now, the beauty of this approach is the kind of person who say, okay, I was online, I just see solar, I saw your company, so I say, I just check, I dey check. The person who tells you like that, good. Can you see that there is no need to be doing follow up? No need to be doing relationship building. No need to be sending proposal. No need to be saying how far you didn't pick my call. No need to be sending email. No need to be passing by that person's office. There is no need because the person has told you from day one that no, now just browse, I dey browse. I was just online. I saw your company, and I just say I should call. Like just browse, I dey browse. Good. We are eliminating those browsing people, those waka pass people. Again, don't insult anybody. We are all worthy of respect because we are children of God, made in His image and likeness. But for the purpose of saying our money with a fine, I want to invest time with people who have budget, who have authority, who have need, who have timeline. Somebody who is just browsing, maybe they have budget, maybe they have authority, but honestly speaking, there's no need. I'm in a Band-Aid neighborhood. I'm a big boy. You know, money now water. It's not a problem. I've paid NEPA engineer. We're doing bypass. Like, and I'm just asking. Maybe it's something I'll do in 2 3 years time. Like, it doesn't matter how you squeeze that person. You can't remove anything there. Budget and authority is there. Need is the need there. Maybe, maybe not. Timeline is the timeline there. It doesn't seem so. Don't waste your time. Don't. So this was her approach. And I said, good. This approach is already more constructive because now people are telling you from day one where they stand. Just so you have the proper expectation, most people will excuse themselves at this stage. But the thing is, the 2 or 3 people now that she's left with, at least she knows that, okay, there is room. It doesn't mean the deal will close, but it means there is hope. All those ones we just they browse, we have removed them. That's the beauty of this approach. So I told her, Cinderella, good. I'm glad you did that. The only thing that we're going to change is this: the order of the numbers. Because she told me, oh, I spoke to this person, I told this person 4.5 to 6 million. I spoke to this other person, I told this person 6 to 9. Blah, 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 blah. I just thought, okay, good, perfect, you're doing the right thing. We just need to make 2 changes. Number one, we will change the order. There's something when it comes to pricing psychology and all that, that is called anchoring. Anchoring just means you give somebody a reference point. Reference point just means you give somebody a number that they can feel comfortable with. You feel me? I hope you understand where I'm going. So when you say 4.5 to 6 million, you've gone from a high number, what is perceived to be a high number, to an even high number. It causes a psychological beam in some people. 4.5 to 6 million. Jesus. That's what you cause in some people. You just cause a beam. So what you do is you reverse the order. You say the high number first. When you say the high number first, the anchor is high. When you say the lower number doesn't seem like that much of a big deal. Again. So instead of saying 4.5 million to 6 million, and you cause a beam, what you do is you say, oh, it will cost between 6 million to maybe 4.5 on the low end. Now, when you say 6 million to maybe 4.5 on the low end, that 4.5 doesn't sound that bad anymore. Because we started high, we go low. That 4 million now sounds like, okay, it can work. Even if I don't have 4.5, maybe I can talk to them for 3.8, maybe 4 million. Not too bad. So I told her we switch up the order. So the next time we're talking to somebody, you say, oh, madam, based on what we've spoken about so far, it looks like we need a medium powered solar installation. And based on what we've done for our customers in the last year, we're looking at anything between 9 million to about 6 million on the low range. Is that beyond your budget? How does that sound? What do you think about that, ma? Does that sound just about right for your needs, ma? Anchoring. So the high number first to reduce that beam factor. Especially those of you who are selling things that are millions, millions, millions. So, I told Cinderella, that's what we do. We switch it around. High number first, the lower number next. What we're doing is we're anchoring. Anchor high, then bring it low. Like this guy, is it Jacob? Abi Esau? Abi is it Isaac? I can't remember. The one who wanted to marry one woman, and they said, "Come and work for me," and say, How long will you work?" And his father-in-law didn't give a range, but if the father-in-law said, "Well, it can be anything between 7 and 14 years," the guy would have said, "What? 14 years? Because I'll marry wife? Waiting." But if you switch it and say, could be anything between 14 years to maybe about 7 years on the low, and you say, yeah, so it can be done in 7 years. Yeah, yes, my son. Okay, yeah, no problem. Should be in love. More they go 7 years. Sorry for those of you who are scripture purists. Sorry that I perverted the story. Well, not perverted it, but changed it a little bit. But anyway, you get my point. So, where was I? We changed the anchoring. Then next thing is feedback, because she was saying, how does that sound? Then she will keep quiet. Now, for some people, in Nigeria we did. For some of us who are, learned, we don't go school, we get master's degree, and all whatnot, middle class people, middle class picking. Okay, well, middle class children. People like us don't qualify to be called picking. At least that's what my friend Michael Okodo used to say. Because I grew up in Abuja. Later on, we moved to Lagos. And Michael, my friend, my very good friend Michael, he was from a more rough background. Yeah, so he used to tell me that, look, when we say picking, we don't mean your type. That you people are children. That you and your brothers, you people are children. Me and my siblings, we are picking. So, for those of us who are children, we can say, how does that sound? But because of the way we carry ourselves, it doesn't sound too rude. It doesn't sound too abrupt. But we're in Niger. How does that sound? Might rub some people off the wrong way. So I told her we need to look for ways of other things. So that's when I now came up with is that beyond your budget? Is that beyond your budget? Is that what you had in mind? Does that tally with the research you've done so far? Like that's the scope. Could be between 9 million on the high end to about 6 million on the lower end. So how does that compare to the research that you've done so far? If the person answer, you will now know that the person has even been talking to other people self. I am not just the first person that they're calling. They gain some extra information. So we need to look for different ways to get feedback on the price that we put out. So whenever you give a price range, you get feedback because you want to see how they react to it. Somebody who reacts in horror and fear, you know that, okay, this person is not your customer. The person who reacts with the attitude of, sounds just about right, continue the conversation. The person who reacts and says like, my sister, that's 6 million. Is it negotiable? Okay, that kind of person you can still continue the conversation with. But people who react in absolute disgust or horror or fear, people who say, did I tell you I'm a politician? Did I tell you my father is a thief? You're calling this money as if it's from the well, we go and fetch it. That kind of person, just apologize, no vex, whatever, sorry, Tinubu economy, blah, 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 blah. Then, maybe keep their email address, keep them on the emailing list so you go to update them every once in a while. They'll be receiving email messages from you. Maybe when their eyes open up or their circumstances change, they can now call you out. But anyway, you get the whole point. It's almost 30 minutes. Let me bring today's episode to a close. So, apart from that now, calling the range and then getting the feedback, I told her we need to also put something in between, another question in between to soften the money something. Just in case, because of Niger factor, maybe that is too direct for some people. I told her let's put in some urgency questions in between. So we give a budget with the range. Higher number first, lower number next. Then we put urgency question in between. Then when they answer the urgency question, we will now get feedback on the price. Based on how they answer, based on their body language, we now know who we're dealing with. Now, can you people see the reason why I say that to be effective in selling, face to face, eyeball to eyeball, I am looking at madam as I am talking. Based on her body language, I will know where we're heading. If that is not possible, phone call. From phone call, you can hear, the first time I quoted 400K for somebody when I was in events and my mouth was shaking. The lady could hear my mouth shaking. That's why she started laughing, because it was a phone call. You will hear when somebody is confident, you will hear when somebody is shaking. So phone call next. Then email is the last worst option because it has worst open rates. People just ignore email. WhatsApp is conversational. So based on how quick people are responding or based on the kinds of words they use or something like that, WhatsApp is conversational. But anyway, this is the reason why I say, first of all, selling is a conversation. It's based around the questions that you ask. Then there's a communication hierarchy. Face to face is best. After that is audio, spoken, talk, phone call, Zoom call. All right, now where was I? And so you now put urgency in between. So we didn't come up with a list of urgency questions. We had to cut our session today short. Why did we even cut it short? I can't remember, but we had to cut today's session short. But that was the next thing. She's now going to look at urgency questions. Now, urgency questions, remember, are questions that are built around timelines. We're trying to figure out if this person is ready and willing to take action anytime soon. Because if you're talking to somebody, like you're Cinderella, you sell solar, you're talking to somebody, it's 2026, but the person is thinking of taking action in 2030. Why are you wasting your time giving this person close marking? The person has told you that this project is going to start in 4 years. No problem. You follow the person, but this is not the kind of following that you call the person on Monday, you call them on Wednesday, you call them on Saturday. That's excessive. But then you're talking to somebody, as you're talking, you're able to figure out that this person wants to install this system in his house next month. Okay, that kind of person, you can call them on Monday and maybe call them on Friday and then call them next week Wednesday, because you've seen that they're ready to take action anytime soon. So those are what urgency questions are around. So in this case, it would be more like something like, okay, madam, based on what we've spoken about so far, we're looking at a mid-range system. It could cost anything between 9 million on the high end to about 6 million on the low end. Is this a project you are thinking of starting this quarter? Or are you just doing some research? You ask her first. Just like that. And you hear what it is she has to say. If it turns out that madam says she was browsing, okay. You can now ask her, okay, you were browsing? All right, fantastic. That's not a problem. But I'm just curious, that budget of between 9 to 6 million, was that beyond your budget? Was that a realistic figure for you? How does that sound? Based on how she has answered those two questions, you now know, okay, what to do next. If madam says she's browsing, but she says 9 to 6 million sounds all right because she's been talking to some other people, okay. So it's looking like there is budget. It's looking like, okay, in this case, there's no timeline. Because she says she's just now browse. She did browse. Okay, so there's no timeline. So in this case, relationship nurturing is what you would have to do next. Okay, so thank you very much, Ma. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you don't mind if I keep in touch with you from time to time, because if you change your mind, I'd love to make sure that my company is here to be able to help sort out your power needs, help solve your energy problems, help your whatever. Now, since my name is just browsing, she'll say, sure, no problem. We've taken permission. The window is open. We'll be in touch with madam every once in a while. Eventually, we'll find out if there's a need, and who knows, our timeline might change. There's hope. But urgency questions in the middle just to soften things up. So hope you don't mind me asking, are you just curious, or are you planning towards something? It could cost anything between 6 million on the high end, so about 4.5 million on the low end. Hope you don't mind me asking, sir, how soon were you thinking of having this installed? That's a timeline question. That's an urgency question. So, install, okay. It's as if you didn't hear that you say 4.5 million. Is it from the tree? I'll block the 4.5 million. So, sorry, daddy. No vex. You apologize, you refocus, you get all the other things that we talk about in the previous podcast episodes. But the thing is, um, all these questions will give you a sense of who it is you're dealing with. So, price, bracket, feedback on the price. If you're worried about going from price to feedback, just put urgency question in between just to soften it. The urgency question will still give you a sense of who it is that you are dealing with. So, yeah, that's it pretty much. I just had the conversation with Cinderella, like I said, again, not her real name, and I wanted to share it with you all today. And remember, like I said, this technique, advanced, small. So, if this is your first time of selling real estate, don't go and try this out today. Your leg is not that strong yet. You don't have the confidence yet, right? When you're talking to chief and you want to start giving chief a range, and you say that this plot of land can be anything between 450 million to about 380 million, your mouth will be shaking. So just relax. If this is your first time, don't try this yet. Stick to the traditional order, which is try and find out what he needs, what he's interested in, what does he want to buy the house for, things like that. Then maybe set up one or two inspections. Then as you get more comfortable, you will have lever to start bringing up the money conversation. But if you're comfortable, you've been doing this for quite a bit, and you are tired of wasting time with people, it's absolutely fine in your qualification framework. When you're having conversations with people, it's absolutely fine to bring the money front and to bring the urgency or timeline front. And that is my own process. Me personally, this is what I do. I was talking to another one of my students, and they were talking about ghosting, and I said, "Oh, I don't get the ghosting problem anymore." And she said, I can't wait to be as lucky as you, sir. No, it's not luck. It's not luck. When I bring the money conversation up, that okay, look, based on what it is that we're talking about, we're looking at a monthly engagement at the very least, and currently I would do that for about this to this. Is that something you're willing to invest in at the moment? Because I have brought that thing forward. The person that wants to fade will fade today. So I will not have to call the person next week and then the person is ghosting me. The ones that will fade, they will fade today because we had the conversation today. Anyway, let me just stop here. I think I've stressed it enough. If you'd love to connect with me, then call me. Send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. If you'd like me to look at your sales processes or any other part of your business, then call me. Send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. If you want to be a part of my WhatsApp channel, just so that you can get weekly updates, well, not weekly, it's more like daily at this point, almost daily, then send me a text message on the same number or WhatsApp message on the same number. I'll send you the link so you can be a part of the WhatsApp channel. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I will catch you all at okay, I can't say when the next episode is going to be, but I'll catch you guys sometime soon.